Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Master of Education webinar all the way from the University of Dundee. My name is Helen Spiropoulos, and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Associates. And joining me this evening all the way from the University of Dundee is Marie. Good evening to you, Marie.
Hello, Helen, and everybody else. It's good to be here.
Yeah, good. Thank you for joining us, Marie. And I can see that we do have quite a few people that have joined us. We even have some people from Norway, which is great. And I can see from the Middle East and from Africa. So welcome to you all. All right, how we are actually going to conduct the webinar this evening. So I'm just briefly going to introduce you to Stafford and what we do. And then I'm going to hand you over to Marie, who's going to chat to you about the program. And right at the end of the webinar, you will have the opportunity to type out any questions that you perhaps want to ask Marie or myself. What I am going to do is I'm going to look at these questions quite closely because a lot of them are identical, if not, very similar. So I'm going to group all these questions together. So do listen out for your question and the answer. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Associates? Now, Stafford Associates was established in 1993, and we are a resource centre for distance learning education in the Middle East as well as in Africa. We actually do programs, excuse me, we actually do have programs from 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Dundee. Now, we do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, MScs, right through until doctorates. So we really do have programs for all your professional and your personal needs. Now, our function here is to assist students throughout the application process and the registration process, as well as offering some academic and administrative support. I'm now going to hand you over to Marie, and I shall join you towards the end of the webinar. Over to you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Helen. And welcome everybody again. So my name is Marie. I'm one of the lecturers on the MEd programme, and I'm also the group lead for any students undertaking the study via Stafford Associates on the MEd. Okay, so what I'm going to do tonight is to introduce you a little bit to the University of Dundee before moving on to the MEd programme, and then narrowing that down to module choices before you have an opportunity to ask questions. So Dundee University then, who are we? We're in the sunny city of Scotland, the sunniest city actually. And what we do at the university, we do aim to make an impact globally, so as well as locally, and we have students from around the world. We're quite used to working with students no matter which time zone they're in. We aim to transform lives through knowledge creation, along with sharing and the application of that information. And we consider ourselves a modern university, and we hope to provide solutions to 21st century problems. And as a student of the university, you will also be working towards that. Here at the university, we have an excellent global reputation, as you can see from the different awards that we have obtained there. So these are all the different rankings that we have been able to achieve, and we're very proud of those rankings. We have a substantial global reputation with students from over 150 different countries around the world. In addition, no matter where you are in the world, where you're studying from, we can promote that real sense of community, and we feel that this is what sets us apart as a university. Dundee, we offer you a learning experience with one of the world's top 200 universities, and during the course of your studies we will offer you the excellent teaching, learning support and the resources that we have available to help you through your studies. So moving then closer to home of what is the MEd, we'll have a little look at the programme as a whole. The MEd is a professional development programme that's undertaken at level 11 on the Scottish qualification framework, and this means that it's all at master's level. Please do note that although the MEd is recognised by the General Teaching Council Scotland, so the GTCS, it's not a teaching qualification, as you do need to check this out, as different national governments have different prerequisites for teaching, so we do advise that you check it out with the relevant government or the registering body, as potentially the Ministry of Education. Okay, just to give you a brief overview, we do offer two different routes through the part-time and fast-track study. This offers you with that flexibility. It is a blended learning approach, which means that most of the materials are online, but we also do offer face-to-face workshops, and I'll talk more about those shortly. We do treat all students equally. Even though you may be studying at a distance, you still have access to all of the student support. You have no difference in qualifications or the type of certificate that you receive at the end. It doesn't state that it's a distance learning programme. We are, as I say, internationally recognised, so the qualification is known around the world. And we have a focus from early years through to higher education, and whether that's private sector, public sector, no matter what, we will have different routes to be able to suit you and your context. And we are one of the few universities who have 3 certificates recognised by the International Baccalaureate, and again that's something that I'll talk about shortly. So the benefits then of carrying out an MEd study or master's level study, a number of benefits on the screen there, but it's a programme that brings together the theory with the practice. It encourages you to draw on your experience and it then align those with the literature, the theory. It enables you to question why we do certain things and whether there are any alternative ways where that practice can be enhanced. So questioning the theory that you're reading, but also questioning practice in your experiences. All of this helps to develop or extend your confidence and enhance your professional career along with developing that knowledge. As tutors, we're continuously seeing our student practice being influenced by their learning at master's level, and this inevitably benefits those around you, so not just yourselves but your colleagues and the students who you are working with as well. Okay, so a good number of benefits there. What you can expect from us on the MEd programme is, first of all, lots of support given to you, and primarily this is through either email or the online tutorials, which are carried out in a similar manner to what you're, how you're viewing and listening to this presentation tonight. We offer local face-to-face workshops, and I'll again return to those shortly. We also have the online learning and teaching materials, and you will have access to the online library, which has a vast amount of publications in there for you to access. There's an opportunity for formative feedback, and we always try and encourage you to take up that opportunity because it does help with your final assignments. To prepare for those, and also we have the Academic Skills Centre who will offer you support with some of the technicalities around academic writing. So there's quite a bit of support available to you, and there are other areas as well that you would learn about those as you come onto the programme. Okay, as a Master of Education programme, we do offer a number of named awards. So you could have Master of Education in, and you can see the different named awards there. To obtain a Master of Education, you'll need to complete 180 credits of study in a series of modules, which I'll talk about, to be able to meet the named award. The award of Leading Learning and Teaching that you can see at the top of the list there, that's highlighted in bold, that's our generic award, and that does provide you with quite a bit of flexibility in the module choices and at the point of dissertation. However, if you require a subject specialism, you can see we have a number of options there, but what you will need to do is consider what implications that has for your optional modules and for the dissertation. So talking about optional modules, you can see the list there, and each of the optional modules enables you to carry out the study and the assignments without being in the workplace environment. We have an alternative route, as long as you have that experience to be able to draw from and to reflect upon. Each optional module is considered as a single credit module, which is worth 30 credit points. In addition to the optional modules, we have 3 core modules: reflecting upon practice, and research methods and dissertation. The dissertation is a double credit module, so that's worth 60, so that's the big end of programme module that you will undertake. So I'm just going to go through what some of the different permutations around the named awards and how the optional modules link with that, along with dissertation requirements if you undertake the full MEd. So from here, what you can see is we have Master of Education in, and you can see from the top named awards, the generic Leading Learning and Teaching Award, that you can undertake any 2 optional modules for that. So that's where a big area of flexibility is. And also your dissertation topic is any educationally relevant topic area. So you choose that. We don't inform you of that, but through discussion with your supervisor, who you'll be working alongside with here at the university, you'll make those decisions. But if you want a named award and any of the other awards, so from educational leadership down to childhood studies, there are certain modules that you need to undertake to be able to obtain that named award. Plus, you need to cover that topic or that theme in the dissertation. So just to give you an example there, we have a Master of Education in Educational Leadership. And for that award, you'll be undertaking Leadership Change and Organisational Development as the optional module that you must take, plus any other optional module. But then your dissertation also has to incorporate educational leadership. But that still leaves you with a wide range of topics to be able to choose from. So that's a decision for you to have to make depending on where you're currently situated. So whether you are aspiring perhaps towards educational leadership, or whether you want to obtain more information towards perhaps inclusion and learner support, for example, and where you see yourself going. Are you going into leadership? Are you going into specific roles? So please do consider those. I mentioned earlier International Baccalaureate, and that we do have the 3 awards linked to the IB. For these awards, once you commence your studies at Dundee, you will need to register directly with the IB, and we do provide you with guidelines to enable you to do this. We also have a dedicated member of staff who will provide you with the IB support. And there are no additional assignments or no additional work that you need to do to obtain the IB awards. But you will be expected to underpin your writing with some of the IB publications, and again we'll provide you support with this. So we have the 3 different options there, depending on whether you have any IB teaching experience or not. The first 2 options relate to leadership awards. So the first one there is the Certificate in Leadership Practice, and that doesn't require you to have any IB experience to be able to obtain that. But there are specific modules that you will need to undertake to receive eligibility for that award. Now, for the Advanced Certificate in Leadership Research, there are 2 different pathways depending on whether you have IB experience or not. The IB are looking for a minimum of 3 years teaching experience in an IB school for you to be able to qualify for the second pathway. With the first pathway, again, you don't need any IB experience, but you do need to have taken certain modules to be able to take that route. The final one there, the Advanced Certificates in Learning and Teaching Research, there is the only one pathway for that, and the IB specify that you do need, again, the 3 years teaching experience in an IB school to be eligible for that award. Okay, so I'm going to just take you through a couple of examples. One of these is a typical part-time route. This is working towards the IB Advanced Teaching and Learning Research, where you are coming in and you don't have any credit exemption. We do offer credit exemption, and that will impact on some of the options that you have, but we will be able to advise you on this. So year 1, you'll be taking the core module of Reflecting Upon Practice plus a second optional module. And you have then the option to exit with a PG certificate at the 60 credits. Year 2, you'll undertake an optional module, the second one, and along with research methods, and that will provide you with eligibility for a postgraduate diploma. And then the final year, the double credit dissertation module, once that's completed, then you'll be able to exit with an MEd, which is 180 credits, and you will have eligibility to obtain the IB Teaching and Learning Research Award. Okay, to go through a typical part-time route for the MEd along with the IB Leadership Awards, you can see that there's a slight change here in year 1. We don't have the same core module. This is Reflecting Upon Leadership in the IB. In year 1, you're also expected to take Leadership and Organisational Development, and those 2 modules will not only give you postgraduate certificates eligibility, but also eligibility for the IB Leadership Practice Awards. And of course, then you can continue on to year 2, which is any optional module plus research methods, and that will allow you, again, the diploma level. And year 3, you do need to undertake the dissertation with a leadership and an IB focus to be able to be eligible for the Advanced IB Leadership Award. Okay, so that's quite a bit of information. The team of Stafford there will support you with that, and any questions, we'll try and answer those at the end about that. Quite a lot of information there. Okay, the study duration, then we have 2 routes, as I mentioned earlier. The part-time, which you study 1 30 credit module per semester, and a semester equates to 20 weeks. And then for the final dissertation, which is 60 credits, that will take 46 weeks. And the notional study time for that part-time route, you will be expected to be studying for approximately 15 hours per week, and that also includes working towards the assessment. For the fast track route, we are doubling up. So that's 2 30-credit modules simultaneously over the 20 weeks. And then the 60 credits should take you 23 weeks. So as you can see, we're doubling up the time there. So the notional study time is approximately 30 hours per week. What I would say to you is do bear this in mind, and do bear the study times in mind, particularly if you are working full-time, because to take a fast track option, it is quite demanding. But if you do decide to take that route and then decide to change, we can move you onto the part-time route. Equally, if you start on the part-time route but perhaps circumstances have changed, or you feel that you can cope with more study, then we can also transfer you onto the fast-track routes at certain points during the academic year. I mentioned earlier about the optional workshops. These are due to take place on Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th of April. And these will be held locally in the UAE. And workshops are not mandatory, but they are highly recommended. They're a fantastic opportunity to meet with the other students as well as some of the tutors. And it's a space for us to start building that sense of community that I spoke about earlier. The induction workshop will provide you with an opportunity to gain an understanding of the various mechanisms that we use within the university, so how the materials are delivered to you, how webinars take place and tutorials take place, and use of support mechanisms such as the library. It will also enable you to develop an understanding of what we mean when we talk about critical reading, which is a big part of master's level learning, and also the expectations for critical writing. Feedback from the students about these workshops is always excellent. Students find them really worthwhile and beneficial to moving on with their studies. So I do hope that if you join us on the programme, that you can also join us at the workshop as well. It'd be good to see you there. Okay, so the entry requirements required onto any of the certificate levels within the MEd suite. All routes, you must have an undergraduate degree. That doesn't matter what discipline it is, but it must be at degree level. If your undergraduate degree wasn't taught in English, the English language requirement is an academic IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent. As I mentioned, we had 2 routes through, one where you may already be in a workplace, which is excellent, and that enables you to be able to reflect and draw upon your experiences. But we do also have the non-workplace-based route. You don't need to be currently working, but you do need to have enough work experience to be able to draw and reflect in relation to the studies that you're undertaking. So there are a few comments on screen there. As you can see, they're very positive comments. We do regularly see how much undertaking this study changes our students' practice and thinking, which is great to see, because ultimately we're working towards developing and benefiting our students. Okay, the tuition fees, please do ask your academic consultants at Stafford for a breakdown of the tuition fee and the instalment scheme that is available. And for students living and working in Africa, a discounted fee may be available also. The application deadline is Monday the 25th of March, so please do get those applications in as soon as possible so that we can meet that deadline. And I'm going to invite Helen back, as if by magic. Thank you, Helen.
Right, thank you, Marie. That was excellent. I have now opened the question box, so please do start typing in your questions, and I can see there are quite a few already. Okay, and again, I think there's about 2 or 3 of them that are identical here already. Is there any possibility that I can do this program in a much shorter time period?
You can do the fast track option, but we can't go any faster than the fast track option. The maximum that you can do is the 60 credits per semester, which again, it is a significant undertaking. Of course, if you come in with any credit exemptions, then that will also reduce the time scale required.
Okay, and Wala's question is, why is this program really 3 years? You know, what is the structure of doing the assignments? Is this why it is 3 years?
It's 3 years because it's part-time route if you choose to undertake the study by part-time route rather than being a full-time student. So that enables our students to be able to work as well as undertake the studies, which many of you will be wanting to do, and we can't afford to give up those wage packets. But also it enables you to be able to absorb the learning that you're undertaking. The assignments are generally, apart from the dissertation, there are 5,000 word written assignments, so there's quite a bit of work to do there. But it's master's level, so there is an expectation that you'll be undertaking quite a bit of reading along with the writing for the assignments as well.
Okay, and the second part of your question, Wala, is regarding the optional workshops. These will be held in the UAE. Do get in touch with your academic consultant and we'll be able to give you more details about the workshops. Okay, and Eleanor's question is, what age or grade level does the nursery or early years award cover?
Well, that's up to you to bring the context in. So when we talk about nursery and early years, generally we're talking up to around about the age of 5 or 6. Sometimes it can go slightly beyond that, depending on your own context. And you bring the reading to that. So there are specific modules that you'll be undertaking. So, for example, one of the modules could be well-being of children and young people. That would look at children and young people from anywhere from pre-birth all the way up to age 18. But of course, if you're wanting to focus your studies on a much younger age range for that named award, then you will bring that. We give you the general, and I suppose a platform to be able to take your learning forward to specialise in that area.
Okay, and Fatih's question is, I do have experience as a teaching assistant in an IB school. Would this then count towards me getting an IB certification?
You would to be honest, I'm not sure about whether it would enable you to get the advanced without taking the leadership practice one first. I think you would need to undertake the leadership practice award first before moving on to any advanced award. And it does depend on your role. Teaching assistants can vary quite a lot from place to place as to what they do. So you do need to be undertaking a significant amount of teaching. And again, that's something that you would need to perhaps talk to about with your academic consultant, and also be able to provide evidence of what you are doing. So on your application forms, talk to us, tell us what you're doing in the classrooms.
Okay, and I have now lost my bachelor degree, but I do have a master's in criminology. Will you be able to accept me onto this program?
Yes. Short and sweet answer, yes. So as long as you've got anywhere from a bachelor's degree upwards, doesn't matter what the discipline is, we can accept you onto the programme.
Okay, and Rita's question is, will this qualification actually qualify me as a teacher? Will I be able to get a teacher's license?
Again, that depends on where you are in the world and where you want to be a teacher, because everywhere has different prerequisites, so you do need to take that out with the relevant governing bodies.
Okay, and if I cannot attend any of the workshops, will I be able to get what is covered in these workshops, and how will I get that?
Yes, all the materials are, the presentations, any resources that we use are uploaded onto our teaching system. So you'll go to what we call our MEd hub, and the materials will be placed on there.
Okay, again, a very popular question we get every time is, will my degree have online distance learning on that?
No, the degree certificate is exactly the same no matter where you're undertaking your studies. So whether you're on here in Dundee on the campus or whether you're at distance learning, it's all the same.
Okay, and if I do decide to leave halfway through my studies and perhaps exit with a PG certificate or a PG diploma, can I come back into the program to continue? And how long should I stay away before I do come back?
Okay, yes, people do decide to leave for whatever reason. You know, something could be happening within your personal life that means you do need to stop, or it may be that you just do want to generally take a break. So yes, you can do that, and you can return, and you have up to 5 years to return to us to be able to use those credits that you've already obtained. How long should you leave it? I would try and get back as quick as possible.
Absolutely. And deepest question is, I do have a master's in education, and I have done a few modules that I think I may be able to get credits for. Do you accept any credits?
We do accept credits up to 50% of the entire award. So if you're going for a full MEd, which is 180 credits, we can give credit exemption up to 90 credits. But that does depend on the level of the study that you carried out before and how your previous study aligns with our modules.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add on to that. It's very important that you do submit some learning outcomes or a student handbook that you may have that relates to the modules that you have completed, and in that way the university can map whether what you have completed is similar to their modules. Okay, so do bear that in mind and chat to your academic consultant that will be able to assist you with that. Having completed the MEd program, can I actually teach on all levels of students in a school, or does it actually have to be specific levels?
No, it doesn't have to be specific levels. Many of our programs or our modules are named pathways from anywhere, like I say, from pre-birth all the way up to 18, sometimes to 60 if you're looking in higher education, maybe even beyond that. So yeah, there's no limit. But it does depend what you're looking for. If you're looking for a specific age range, again, you will bring that to the modules and the assignments.
Okay, and in your opinion, why should I be doing an IB, and what is the benefit of doing the IB?
The IB opens doors if you want to pursue a career with any international baccalaureate school, and remember they are located globally, and I know it's a growing area within the UAE as well, so it does offer you far greater choice. So if you are working towards that IB career, then you've already got something on your CV that relates to the IB and they can see that.
Okay, and can I contact my tutor directly if I have any queries, or are there other contact people that I should be speaking to?
Yes, you can contact your tutor for queries, but they're generally related to the academic queries that are related to the module. We also have a number of other team members who depending on what your query is, we'll be able to support you and provide guidance for that. We do have a specific email address for any students undertaking any of the MEd studies who are coming to us via Stafford Associates. So you have your very own email address to be able to obtain that support.
Okay, I've been thinking of doing the fast track option. However, I do have quite a lot of work as I am teaching full time. So how many hours should I be spending a week if I do decide to take this fast track route?
Okay, I would say think very carefully about it if you're already working full time, because we're looking for approximately 30 hours of study per week. So that's going to be an awful lot of work in your workplace alongside the studies as well. So please do think carefully. But as I mentioned earlier, if you do decide to start to work on the fast track route but realise that that's too much for you, it's a bit overwhelming, then do contact us. We can change your pathway to part-time if you wish to at certain points of the year.
Can I change my specialisation halfway through my studies if I don't enjoy the one that I'm currently doing?
We hope you do enjoy it, but yes, but that again depends on which one that you've been undertaking and what you want to transfer it to. If you've been taking any of the named awards, but then you wish to transfer to the generic Leading Learning Teaching Award, which many students sometimes do, then that's fine. You can make that transition straight away. If, however, you've been working towards, say, international education and then you want to transfer to educational leadership, you can do that if you've either obtained the leadership and organisational development module, or you still have space to be able to undertake that. So it depends when you want to make the transition and from what and to what.
Okay, and are there any supervisors that will come and monitor me in my classroom? Is this a type of program that has that?
We don't come out and observe teaching practice in the classroom. We expect you to be able to critically reflect on your teaching practice, but because we don't offer a teaching licence as part of this award, then we don't need to come and observe your teaching methods.
Okay, and studying the MEd in a regular duration and completing it in a fast track duration, does it actually still have the same value?
Yes, an MEd is an MEd, no matter which way you take it. It's still 180 credit points, and that's recognised globally.
Okay, and regarding the English requirement, I have got a bachelor degree in history, and I do have a diploma for early years level 3, and I do have a cash level 5 for leadership. Do I require to do an IELTS?
If all of that or one of those is being taken with English through English as the medium, then you won't need an IELTS. So again, that's something that you need to provide evidence for and discuss with the academic consultant.
And how do I go about getting my degree qualification after I have completed? Will the university provide me with a letter so that I can get my visa and come and graduate?
Yes. And some people will require a letter sooner than that. So, you know, if you require a letter to say that you've obtained enough credit points for a postgraduate certificate, then we can do that for you. You do need to be able to give us enough notice to be able to do that, because it is quite a lengthy process. But as for the MEd, then yes, we will provide you with that letter, and you'll receive information from registry, and we would hope that we do see you at graduation. It's a great experience.
Okay, and Prashant's question is, do I get any credits if I have taught in an IB school curriculum for more than 10 years?
We don't offer experiential credit. It has to be credit for prior learning, so it has to be formalised learning.
Excellent. Okay. And Prashant, do get in touch with your academic consultant to give you some guidance on that. And the second part of your question regarding the finances, again, we do have very flexible payment options, monthly payment options. Do get in touch with us so that we can actually provide you information on that. Okay. What happens if you register as a part-time student for the certificate level, but you are able to finish the first module before the 20 weeks? Can you then immediately proceed with the optional modules and finish before 46 weeks?
Not straight away. We've got certain points in the semesters where you can do that. Generally, that's ready for the next semester. So you need to let us know in time. We can generally, if you're going from fast track to part-time, we have a little bit more flexibility there, but not quite so much if you're going from part-time to fast track. But like I say, there's specific times within the study where we can do that for you.
Okay, and again, a question about the IB certification. Do you have any idea of how I go about doing that? You know, do I do it through Dundee, or is it an external body that I need to contact?
You will need to be in direct contact with the IB, but you wouldn't need to do that until you're actually on the programme, because then as I mentioned, we do have a dedicated member of staff who will support you with that process. So they'll send you the information of what to do to be able to register with the IB and the information to obtain certificates at a later point.
Okay, and a final question is, if I do happen to fail any of my assignments, do I get critical review so that I can better myself and be able to pass it on a second attempt?
Yes, we hope that you don't, because we always want our students to do well. But there are those times where some students do fail because of one reason or another, and we do give you really detailed feedback to be able to overtake that grade and hopefully achieve the assignment. But also do remember, as I mentioned earlier, that there is an opportunity for formative feedback as well before that final submission. So that should be able to support you with that final piece of writing.
Okay, and do you perhaps know, if I do exit with a postgraduate certificate, how can I go about getting a teacher's license? Do you perhaps know how I can go about doing that?
Again, that's just very different wherever you are in the world. So unfortunately, you need to do that little bit of work there, because it's not something that I can advise.
Yeah. Okay, so Eleanor, that is quite correct. Marie is spot on that. It really does depend in the region that you're in, and also which countries you eventually want to go to. It's very important that you find out from your local ministry what is required in order to get a teacher's license. Okay. And very last question, how do I do a PG certificate, or can I do a PG certificate, and then after 2 years I can then continue with my MEd?
Yes, indeed. You have up to 5 years to come back, so definitely.
Okay, well, I've managed to group all the questions. Oh, okay, sorry, one more question. Okay, can you at any point in future apply for an IB certification if I don't do it immediately now after I've completed the program?
That's a very good question that I don't really know the answer to. I'm sorry. But again, it's something that we can find out for you and report back. If you want to contact your academic consultant, and they'll make contact with us, and we'll try and find you the answer to that.
Absolutely, Patty, that really is a very good question, because a lot of our students do actually do it immediately after they have completed the program. But you're quite right. If you decide after 1 or 2 years that you want to try and get that certification, what is the time period? So do get in touch with your academic consultant. As Marie said, we'll be in touch with the university and get the proper answer for you. Okay. Right, well, that's it. Eleanor, thank you very much for your comments, and thank you everyone for joining us. It was wonderful having you with us this evening and all your good questions. Again, Marie, it was a great pleasure.
Yes.
And as Marie said, we've only got a couple of weeks left for all those applications to come in, so please do send them in as soon as possible. There are limited places available. Okay. Again, thank you, Marie, and a good evening to everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.